Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Tonight is questions and answers. Anything goes, including things for yourself, clients, friends, whatever you'd like. So unmute yourself, type in, and fire away.
And go ahead, Laura, then Sandra.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Greg. I just want to thank you guys for last weekend's class. It was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
I have a family member who was diagnosed with prostate cancer 13 years ago,
Okay.
and it was a complicated one. It wasn't one of the more simple ones.
Right.
They removed his prostate. 4.5 years later, it came back. He did some rounds of radiation in different areas. He's had, chemical treatments, four to five treatments at different times. At one point, he's been losing some ground with memory and cognition, and being able to figure out what's the next step, and some word retrieval and focus and different things. At one point, they did an MRI, actually about 2 years ago, and it looked like there was some evidence of stroke in 2 places. But they've also questioned if some of the medication wasn't causing problems too, cognitively.
Yeah.
And they've definitely, they've just seen the deterioration over time and more rapidly sometimes with the medication.
How old is he?
69. And there are a couple of things. One thing is he has asthma.
Okay.
And one of the things that I've noticed is he's not as engaged as as he's always been. He's kind of disengaged. And we were just trying to see, you talk about brain fatigue, you talk about all different kinds of things, and this is obviously more complicated, but just trying to see if you had any suggestions.
I mean, like you said, it's a complicated situation, but like all of those things seem like unrelated to a certain extent, but they could be actually totally related. And whenever you see cancer, like if you boil it down, it's just you think about it, it's like it's just a chaotic cell growth, right? I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but it's cells that are growing that are abnormal, and it's a lot like a virus in the way excuse me, that it behaves. But this is what I say, just even when I'm looking at him as you were describing him, like last weekend we were talking about the vagus nerve and rest and repair. The nerve that opposes the vagus nerve is this aspect. It's a nerve associated with the sympathetic part of the nervous system, and it basically does the opposite of the vagus nerve. Like it accelerates things, like it accelerates the heart. It's I mean, they call it the accelerator nerve. His is crazy overactivated, and so that could cause the cardiovascular issues. It could cause like a stroke, or there's these things that they're not really a stroke, but they're like usually kind of a pre-stroke thing. Sometimes people will call them like a minor mini stroke or a baby stroke, but they're TIAs, which are transient ischemic attacks. And they'll hit the brain, and there might not be a big incident, but there could be hundreds of small incidences that hit the brain over a period of time. And so you factor in that, we have this issue with the prostate and chaotic cell growth, and then these other things. And then, like, when you say he's not himself, is he like fatigued, or he seems like emotionally, mentally kind of detached from engaging and interacting with other people?
I would say he's kind of detached
Okay.
from
Yeah.
other people.
So it's I mean, it can be a very big imbalance between these two parts of the nervous system. And if you remember from the vagus nerve class, the vagus nerve when is like strong and healthy, part of it has to do with like social engagement. And it sounds like he's lacking that. So, there's a little bit of a vagus nerve component, but it's not so much that the vagus nerve or the rest and repair aspect of the nervous system is depleted. It's the other side is just crazy overactivated. And so, I mean, I don't know how much this person would be willing to do certain things. So a lot of times I try to start small. And would he like inhale an oil or put it on his body or anything like that? Or do we need to go through different?
I think we're going to get as much information as possible.
Okay.
And
then
start
we'll assess.
small.
Okay, perfect. I like that. So this is what I would do is, like just trying to target like the symptom or this symptom. Like I kind of want to get the body like just in a better place of functioning. And once that happens, it makes anything that he's doing with his doctors or with other protocols that we do or somebody else doing the healing on him, it just makes it easier for things to happen. And really, when you start calming that nerve down, my experience is that, for one, with cancer, it slows down the rate of cancer growths. And two, it might even impact his asthma. Definitely will impact his cardiovascular function, like substantially. And we can start really simple. And, there's a blend that we can use, or just even a single oil. But the blend is that one Paracelsus, it's got wormwood in it, it's got opopanox in it, and like I've made a version with a little bit of ginger grass, and I made a different, like I've kind of played with the last little element a little bit. But the idea would be, part of why that blend works so much is it calms down that accelerator nerve. So it can have an impact on cardiovascular function if he's a little bit more predisposed to like strokes or TIAs. It's not like the total treatment for that, but it's definitely contributing to that. And it's really kind of more like you're wanting to put the body in a better place so that the things become easier to deal with. Sometimes they resolve on their own, and sometimes extra steps need to be done. But
so what protocol is there?
Ideally, I would have him go through and inhale with his awareness on his body. But if he won't do that, we could flip it and make like a body tonic where he rub it on as much of his body as possible. And the idea being that, it's antispasmodic, it's very relaxing, it's very soothing, but by going through and treating the body, you're not really doing the joints. It's just like your leg, your hip, you're going through body part by body part. You're hitting the skeletal muscle, and by hitting the skeletal muscle, you're hitting the circulatory function. And it's different than some of the other things that we've done, because we're not trying to, like when we did the arms and legs over the weekend with the different oils and the different layers, you're trying to regulate circulation. Here, you're trying to calm the heart down, and you're trying to calm the nerve down that stimulates the heart, because things are just like a little bit overactivated. And that blend, like even if you look at it from the point of view of not being an approach to the nerve or the cardiovascular component, it's oils that put the body into like a more accelerated healing process. So they are a little bit more relaxing. He would probably, if he does it in the evening, he'll probably sleep deeper, he'll sleep longer. You know, if he needs to use the bathroom a lot, like urinating, it calms down that urge to, you know, that kind of urge to get up and urinate, although sometimes it's not because the bladder is needing to empty, it's just that this nerve is out of control. And it will even slow down if he's peeing too many times in a day, it will slow that down. It just starts calming everything down. It just starts helping the body pump the brakes. And you know, wormwood by itself would do it. The Paracelsus is much faster. Sometimes in very extreme cases, I've even had the person take wormwood capsules from the health food store. You know, because you don't want to give them the essential oil of wormwood. It's too strong. Like, so we switch over to capsules, but there could be some other things that we'd use instead of wormwood. It's not always the greatest just to keep pounding on one particular substance, but it would potentially slow down the chaotic cell growth. It would help to begin to regulate the heart. And the asthma, I'd probably give him just a bunch of quercetin, you know, like 2-3 capsules 2 or 3 times a day if he would do it. If he doesn't, like, I get it, you know, we could treat it with an oil, but that he's had cancer for such a long period of time and asthma, you can guarantee he doesn't have enough vitamin C in his body on a daily basis. I guarantee it. Doesn't matter if he's eating 15 oranges a day, he does not have enough vitamin C in his body.
So the
You know, because
quercetin will do that.
Sometimes when the body is having difficulty or has a particular condition, we need more vitamin C than what is just like a normal daily amount of vitamin C. And one of the things that consumes a lot of vitamin C is cancer. Like cancer, it's just ugh. And then anytime you see asthma, I mean, there are different kinds of asthma, but you know, there was a study done probably 20-25 years ago that about 90% of people that have asthma or asthmatic symptoms are vitamin C deficient. So you can almost just go vitamin C deficiency, you know, and just there 9 times out of 10 you would be right. And so like that's almost like one where you could just bet on that it's there. And just the regular vitamin C from the health food store won't be quite enough. So that quercetin that we're always talking about, like I would get him on the quercetin.
Okay.
You know, you can always get him to eat like more fruits or, you know, things that are higher in vitamin C and
And he has a healthy diet.
Yeah.
But it says it
And
needs
so
extra.
then if he can handle more, then it's always the next step is a bunch of lymphatic work. You know, but just a bunch of lymphatic work.
Okay, and I can get back with you, but I've also got that probably in classes that I've.
Yeah, well, there's that whole series that we did of the lymphatic, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be heavy on lymphatic 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay,
Yeah.
I should have all that information.
Yeah.
That
And
I
I
can
think
share
most
with
of
them.
those were just like a 1-day thing. So,
Yep.
you know, they're not super
Well,
prolonged. And you can
and I
just
can get
cycle
into
through
that.
it.
And,
What's
yeah,
that?
I can get into that, and if I
Yeah.
have a problem, I'll just get back on and ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you suggest to do it at not body tonic at night?
Body tonic you could do multiple times in a day, but if he's going to do the inhalation, it will, and he goes through his body, it will probably kind of knock him out a little bit. And so you know, it's ironic, we just did it last night. You know, I wrote about this in the thing last night, and it just had been on my mind a bunch lately. And so Samantha slept in much longer than normal. I slept in a little bit more than normal, and I was doing it on the couch, fell asleep on the couch, like got up in the middle of the night to go to bed. And so, I mean, that's how relaxing it can be. It's not that it's like it's relaxing and calming. It calms that specific nerve. You know, that
So-
specific nerve is, I would say, has a bigger effect, has a bigger profound effect on like how wound up we can be. And a lot of times there's not a whole lot you can do to calm it down, because it's really like the agitation is a byproduct of some stress and then trauma. And trauma doesn't have to be like, you know, an accident or some big devastating thing. It could just be a lot of micro traumas over a period of time. Like just, you know, I remember doing work for this one company, and this one person, they just had like substantial PTSD. And when I was looking at them, I was like, man, there's just lots of trauma. And I would ask the person, like, so tell me what like horrible things have happened or whatever. And they were like, nothing. And I was like, I couldn't get to the bottom to it. And so I just said, tell me what happens. Like, just tell me what goes on. And they were given extra hard jobs, and the chance of success wasn't as high as normal. And they kind of consistently didn't achieve their goals. And I said, do people like yell at you, or do you get in trouble? They go, no, there's not a big high expectation that we're going to be successful. And so like we kept talking it out, and it's like just not hitting the goals and not being successful. And also a little bit of people not even expecting the person to be successful made them feel like, you know, I'm just not capable, when it was really the situation. It wasn't the person, it was the situation. But if you said, is any of that traumatizing to you? They'd go, no. But when you look at them, and I started measuring and looking, it was just a bunch of micro traumas over a period of time. So it's not something where you have to go and figure out, like, did he have trauma or not? Just that nerve is like that. Something hurt his feelings, something made him not feel good, something didn't go well, you know, there was loss, whatever it is, that got overstimulated.
Well, reoccurring cancer would do that for any of
Yeah,
us.
cancer would do it too, but I
Um,
suspect that it was there before the cancer. I
Okay,
think it probably contributed to the cancer, actually.
okay. Interesting thought. So the inhalations at night, you said to focus on the body. So I'm going to be ask you really specifically. Are you talking about like starting at the toes or the head and just going through all parts of the
You can
body?
start either way. I usually have them start at their feet, but it doesn't really matter. It's just that if you start relaxing the feet, they'll start relaxing, and then the legs, and then by the time they get up to their chest and head, they're kind of already taken off a little bit. And you want to increase the circulation in the legs maybe a little bit more, just to help the overall circulation. So I usually have them start at the legs first. It kind of doesn't matter, but if like we're splitting hairs, I'd start from the feet and work your way up. But it's just about relaxing the different segments of the body. So whatever division of that works, you know, I like to go like little section by little section by little section. So the feet, the lower leg, the knee, the leg, the hips, the lower abdomen, the back, you know, just kind of keep it in little segments like that.
Okay, and like I know that sometimes you do a deep dive where you do like 17 inhalations per area.
If he can do that, like the longer the better.
Okay,
Yeah. But I would say keep it
If-
into something that he'll do consistently, because like a treatment or two will be good. Him doing it every night for, you know, a few weeks to a month would be awesome.
well,
So
then
if it's 10 minutes a night, then I'd rather see 10 minutes a night for 30 days than a deep dive 2 or 3 nights, you know, for an hour and a half, and then no more. Like I'd rather see him just
sure.
consistently do it for a while. Yeah.
So could he go through the body doing it, you know, a certain number and then go back through the body again
Sure.
if he's
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Because that may be an encouraging way to do it if
Yeah.
he's comfortable with that. Now, for somebody that doesn't sleep like me, would this be something interesting to try?
I find it incredibly soothing and relaxing. And every time I do it, it knocks me out. And then I go, God, why am I not doing this on a regular basis? And, it's just, you get so many things going on and, I forget. And, but every time I do it, I sleep like a baby. Like, I mean, like I said, I fell asleep on the couch last night and Samantha went to bed early and slept in late. And we were doing a little protocol like after we got all done last night, and man, it knocked us both out.
Last question.
Mhm.
Sage on the wrist?
What was it?
Sage on the wrist?
Oh, sage on the wrist is always good. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I know that for cognitive, you always
Yeah.
say
And
that.
brain fatigue and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, as you were talking, I was looking at him to see if it was a little bit more of a psychasthenia, which is a different kind of like depletion in the nervous system on the brain. I think sage is sufficient. I don't think you need the spruce or anything like that. I think you're pretty solid there.
And would a salt bath be encouraged?
Salt baths, especially for cancer patients, are always good, but like the thing that I always like to think of is not to overwhelm them. And so if he's in and he's willing to do it, then I would do it. If he's like him and Han, I'd rather see him do the wormwood for a while before
Absolutely.
So
I'm just getting all the information. What would you
if-
put in the salt bath?
I would put either Palo Santo or coffee.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I would lean a little bit heavier on the coffee, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very cleansing and it's very stimulating to detoxification, and it just helps clean things up to a higher degree. But Palo Santo would do it too, but coffee would be a little stronger.
Very, very helpful. Thank you very
You're
much.
so welcome.
And then go ahead, Sandra, then Saja.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
I'm a little behind time, but I just finished your energetics or mechanics class.
Oh, great.
I just thought it was wonderful. I learned
Thank
so
you.
much in that. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
We're going to do a different version. We're going to do energetic mechanics and was it the immune system
Mhm.
in September. So
Oh,
it will
good.
be like kind of a, not part 2, but like the same idea, but with
Mhm.
the immune system.
Yeah, I just love tying all those things together, which I'm
Yeah.
always curious about. So thank
You
you.
and me both.
The question I have is,
Mhm.
I'll preface it by saying, like most people our age, my husband and I have bad backs, and
Yeah.
I've been using the marjoram peppermint on
Yeah.
his back and mine, and it's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's such a simple thing, and within 5 minutes, the pain's gone.
It's
So
amazing. I
About-
agree.
every other day, he'll say, "Would you put Greg's magic potion on my back?"
Very
And
good.
so we've been doing that, and it's really effective. But I was just thinking, in the class I just talked about, someone asked you about cedar. And among the many things it does, it said something about moving energy in the spine. And although I realize you're probably talking more about spiritual energy, maybe, was
No,
wondering if would be
it
effective.
actually, it still could be like blockages, and it also is helpful for stimulating lymphatic movement there. That could be helpful, but like given that it's like low back, is it close into the spine itself, or is it a little bit like, does it go across side to side, or is it not a little bit wider? Like where's your
It's in the
guys'
spine. He
It's in
had
the
a bad accident when he was younger, and it's given him problems, since then. So it's I really do think it's the nerves coming.
nerve pain?
back,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the thing that I would do is I would keep doing the same thing that you're doing, but I would use like something like hyssop to deepen the breath. And did it have, I can't remember which class it's in. Did it have the diaphragm release where you went back and forth between something like hyssop and something that's balsam?
I don't think in that class, no.
Okay, it must have been the weekend
I
before.
think it might have been the vagus nerve class. I've taken part of that, but I haven't finished it. But
Okay. Well, let's let me see. I have it somewhere. Let's just post it. Okay. What is it?
The balsam.
I know we put it in clinical corner too. I think I have it right here, actually. So we're gonna post something here real quick, but let us just. So this is the deeper diaphragm work.
mhm,
And the idea is that any time that you have, give me a second here. I'm a boy. I can only do one thing at a time. Okay, there you go. So anytime that you have like spinal issues where there's pressure on a nerve, be it that it's a disc or lack of a disc or a misalignment, you know, the marjoram and peppermint help with the pain. But what happens when you're in pain for any length of time like that is it starts to cause bronchial spasms, like the spasms in the upper part of the respiratory tract. They can constrict, and it is, you know, the pain causes the body's nervous system to shift, and in that shifting, those bronchioles go into a spasm. And so the difficulty then becomes that it throws the breathing rate off.
mhm.
And then it makes the breath a little bit more shallow. It tightens up the diaphragm. And because of the more rapid breathing, these little muscles along the side of your neck tighten up.
Mhm.
And so anytime the diaphragm increases in tension, there is a corresponding reaction that it tightens up the little spinal muscles up and down the spine, you know, they're called the multifidi. And there's these little muscles that just kind of crisscross and run along the spine. And so what happens is it tightens up the spine even more and puts more pressure on the spine itself. And so whenever there's like a spinal issue or nerve pain, sharp stabbing pain, radiating pain, I kind of like to try to treat the pain first, but then I always like my second phase is let's treat the respiratory tract. And a lot of times just regulating that respiratory function will decrease the pain, usually, not every time, but usually about 40 to 50%. I mean, that's how much that, you know, it loosens up the spine, it deepens the diaphragm, it relaxes the body. And because all that starts to happen, it starts to shift that part of the nervous system, which makes you handle pain better. Like when that area gets really super agitated, pain increases. But like when you start to go into more rest and repair, or like last week when we were talking about the vagus nerve, when the vagus nerve is stimulated and strong and fortified, you're able to tolerate pain better, and you even start to sense pain like you don't feel it as intensely, like it just makes you process the pain better. And then in doing so, you're less likely to kind of try to manage it with your body, because whenever you're in pain, your body is trying to like, let's find that spot so it doesn't hurt,
Yeah,
and so you'll start to get weird tensions and things, because the body, one of the ways that it tries to manage pain is it tries to basically, like, how like if you hurt your arm, you'd go to the doctor, they'd put your arm in a sling, right? It's basically a way of splinting that area so you don't use it very much and you don't hurt it more. the body does a version of that, where it goes, okay, this area hurts, let's tighten up so they don't move this part of the body. It won't hurt as much, but at the same time, it's increasing pain, but it's trying to protect the degeneration of the joint,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Sure.
And so like the next phase that I would do is go deep on unwinding like respiratory spasms. You
Can
know,
you say
and
hyssop?
what's that?
Did you say use hyssop?
You could use hyssop, but like you could just use hyssop. But sometimes what I like to do is go back and forth between hyssop and something that's like a balsam, like fir balsam, Peru balsam, Tolu balsam. You know, if you happen to have like a poplar balsam in any of your kits, you could use that. There's that blend Friar's balsam, anything that's real balsamy.
Mhm.
It's very soothing, and basically, you know, we're always trying to unwind the part of the breath that has to do with the inhalation, but the balsam is helping to release the part that has to do with the exhalation.
Mm.
And so you're working two different components in the diaphragm, where usually the big part is the thing that we do with like hyssop and frankincense and Sitka and, you know, all those little blends. All of them are hitting that first part of the movement in the diaphragm, but that balsam hits that other second part. And sometimes working both provides an even deeper release. So I would just go through some of the stuff that you have,
Mhm.
and see if you have anything kind of like that's a balsam.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
Is this just inhalation then?
Yeah, you're just doing a back and forth.
Okay.
And you don't even have to follow patterns. Just have him inhale one for a while. I did provide you a pattern that you could go through and work it, but it's not even a very complicated pattern.
Okay.
And then there is a video that we have, Samantha will tell you, where I have you like inhale and move your body
Oh,
a little bit. It's a way to like kind of stretch that out.
Uh-huh.
All of that could be helpful, but be careful not to hurt the back.
Sure. And as far as hyssop, is there a particular kind of hyssop? Or is
No,
it
in
just
any of the hyssops will work. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And keep us posted. Let us know how he's doing and see if that helps. And
Okay.
but yeah, keep on that marjoram and peppermint.
It really is amazing how
Yeah.
quickly it works. It's just
Yeah.
like in 5 minutes, you're out of pain. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Sahaja, then Cindy.
Hey, Saha.
Hi there. Thank you. I've been listening to the past two people, and it just feels like, well, especially the last person, it sort of addresses what's happening, but I just wanted to ask about it anyway.
Honestly, it's most of us. Like
Well, I didn't know about, what did you say, the marjoram and what was the other one? Peppermint.
peppermint or like the pain relief, neuropathic, anything with a
Yeah, I
mint in it is always good for nerve pain.
Right. Okay. Well, my question's more about my bronchial. I have, and this is what you were just talking about, but I just want to say it out loud and see if it's what you were just telling her corresponds. So I feel like I'm just having, it's right like around where my collarbones, my throat is, irritation there. Like, so it's my really upper lung area.
Okay.
And it just feels like, I want to just cough, and it's just irritated. And the only thing I can compare it to is like, and when I've had viral infections, it's like the very end of that viral infection where you can't quite get rid of that little last lingering piece. And I've had it about a week. I don't know if it's allergies. I don't know, if it's sleeping in a room with a dehumidifier because it's so damp here, and maybe it's dehumidifying too much. I just was wondering what would be something that would be the most effective for that.
Just describe the cough a little bit better.
It's just like,
does it feel like a little spasm that's just like in the throat, or
Yeah, exactly. It's an irritation and, it's like, and it's nothing comes up, it's dry, it's just irritated. And, that's about the best I can describe it.
So what I would call that is a spasmodic cough. It's actually sometimes they're not it's actually not like respiratory. It can actually be soft tissue, and you get like this cough because like some of the muscles around there go into a spasm and it produces a cough, but it's not really your respiratory system having that reaction. So
I mean, it just feels irritated. Like when I breathe, it feels irritated. I don't know if that's a spasm can do that.
yeah, it can. Like there's like a little thing, like a little tickle or a little irritation in the throat.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to have you try like a couple of different things. You're really just going to inhale into that, inhale into your nose and then into that area that you just described. I don't know that you need to follow a big pattern, but two choices would be to use time. Any form of time that you have, just any form if you have it. And then
Yeah, I do.
sometimes with that too, I have people use time, but take like 2, 3, even 4 drops of cypress internally. Like do that like once or twice a day and then inhale the time often. You could also play with eucalyptus, but I think that time will probably get it. The other thing that you could add that if you really wanted to try to do it, and I like having this stuff around the house no matter what, but there's those herbal capsules that you get from, you can get them from Amazon or whatever, but lobelia, like just a capsule once to 2 times a day. And it is also good for a spasmodic cough. And so I think the combination, I will say like the coughs that came from COVID were not like normal. Like they didn't fit in, like it's almost like they were their own thing. And I suspect that, this is why I keep going a little bit deeper and deeper on the diaphragm is I think that virus really disrupted the nervous system quite a bit, hit the cardiovascular system somewhat, but it really threw the diaphragm and some of the muscles in the throat into a kind of spasm that, you only see with really super crazy like bronchitis, pneumonia, things like that. And even some of the chest muscles on a lot of people, people were thinking that they had like cardiovascular issues. They'd go to the doctor and the doctor is like, no, clean bill of health. But there's like they call it like pseudo heart pain or something. And it's just basically, it's chest pain, but it's the soft tissue. So like this whole area up here for, most of us got pretty compromised over the last few years. And even though the condition went away, when something else comes up again, we're kind of back to that spot again. Not so much the viral activity or the bacterial activity, but the activity of the soft tissue and the fascia and all that. And so I think all of this is kind of a good remedy for this. Like do the time, do some cypress internally. If the time's not quite working, switch over to like some form of eucalyptus. You don't even have to be super picky about that one. Probably not ironbark or citrodora, something that smells like eucalyptus, not the lemony forms, but the radiata or globulus or polybroct or smithy or something like that. And if you don't have that, hyssop, something. And yeah, work that pretty hard. And then even a couple capsule, 1 capsule at a time of lobelia if that's still needing a little help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, does lobelia like really knock you out? I sort of have this memory of,
It doesn't. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I've never had that. You know, you don't really take very big dosages of that. And
Mhm.
so it does relax the body. And, you know, maybe if you're exhausted, it would knock you out a little bit, but it's not really so much a relaxant. It's more of an antispasmodic. And
Okay.
it's really good for relaxing fascia. Like it's really good for it. It relaxes the diaphragm. It just relaxes everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but not like in a sedating way. It's just like body tension diminishes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, in the old days, it's what they used to treat for lockjaw, like when somebody would get bit by a dog or whatever and get rabies and they'd get lockjaw. Like the way to treat it was to use a bunch of lobelia and it would unwind the jaws.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. I'm just having memories of lobelia and learning about it many years ago, and I couldn't quite remember about what it was. But yeah.
It got a little bit of a bad rap way back like 60, 70 years ago, because like one of the things that people used to use it for was as a medic, which means they would give you a really big dosage of it to make you throw up. And
Yeah.
it, like in a big dose, it does relax the body to where you have to give them like some cayenne pepper to jumpstart the body again, but they are
Uh-huh.
trying to make you throw up. And I was like, if you
Uh,
try to make people throw up, there's better things to use than lobelia. That was the old thing to do, you know, and people don't do therapy like that anymore. That's the therapy of 100 years ago. I mean, every once in a while there's a reason to make somebody throw up, but it's usually, you know, they've either ingested something that they need to get out real quickly, or that massive amounts of mucus that, like when you have like a sinus infection, drops down the
Mhm.
throat and goes into the stomach. Like sometimes you do it so that the bacteria doesn't spread through the body, but it's not a very popular treatment. You know, I used to do it like 20 years ago or something, and it's effective. But, not very many people like throwing up. Who likes throwing up? Nobody.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll try this and see.
and so that's also why to keep the dosage small, because if you keep going bigger, it eventually will make you vomit, but you would have to do big dosage.
Okay. I won't go for that. Okay, thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome. And keep us
Okay.
posted on that. If you need more,
Okay.
we can do more.
Okay, great. Thanks, Greg.
Someone's just asking really quick, is the lobelia good for TMJ as well?
TMJ, yeah, I would look at the adrenals a lot. TMJ can also be like body misalignments. Like if you sit there, like wherever you're at right now, just kind of sit up straight for a second and notice how your jaw feels, your lower jaw in your mouth, like how it seeds up to the upper jaw. Just notice how it feels. Let's just do this little experiment. Now elevate one of your shoulders about 2 or 3 inches and notice how your jaw changed. Right? And then rotate it forward like 3 or 4 inches. Notice again how your jaw changes, right? So this jaw is very adaptable. So a lot of times just treating the jaw itself might not be enough. Sometimes you have to look at body misalignments, things going on in the spine. I'd also look at the adrenals. And if you're cramping in other places, a potential magnesium deficiency, but I would start treating all of those things. If there's issues where, you know, maybe there's a lot of emotion or something like that, I'd also go through and address that. Topically, you could take a few drops of marjoram and like rub it along the gum line and back where the jaw hinges in the back, and that could be also very helpful.
And then go ahead, Cindy, then Robert.
Hey.
Okay, great. Hey, this morning I was thinking that I really am so grateful for the ability to know to take rosemary, verbena, and basil to get the brain going.
Oh, yeah,
So the mind can think and focus.
right.
So,
How,
so that's,
how are you feeling though? How's
that's my positive thoughts. Wanted to say that first. This past weekend, and I'm up. I get a little better. The hand gets better, like less swelling, and then it goes back to more swelling, and it just goes back and forth. And frequently there is a lot of pain in the body. And you said something earlier, radiating pain. That's how it feels coming from the hands. So it affects the whole body. And this weekend, I didn't do much because the body just felt not good at all. There was a lot of pain. And yesterday, I don't know what happened, but all the pain almost went away. And I'm still aware of the swelling in the hand, but there's less pain.
well, you've
and
got some cycle going through your body, and
yeah, I'm wondering if I might have a food allergy. I don't know. I'm just kind of grasping at straws. I'm reading what I can, to get ideas about, this. Oh, and another thing, the right calf, it was cramping most of the weekend, and I'm limping. And then yesterday, by the end of the day, the cramp was gone and I'm walking normal. And that's happened a few, it's like every few days that'll happen, and then it'll go away. And then maybe the right hip might have a little constriction, but nothing like the cramp. And the cramp makes me limp. But right now I don't have it. And the body feels, I'm still aware of the hand, but the body feels pretty good.
I'm thinking that are you getting little weird random sharp pains in your body that doesn't seem to have a rhyme or reason?
Sometimes. Yeah, I was thinking to start a pain journal because it keeps changing. Every day it's different. And at different times of the day, it's different. Fortunately, I'm able to focus, on what I'm doing at work. So I think I can actually ignore some of the pain by being able to sit at my desk.
Do you happen to have lemon verbena?
I don't know. I can look. I might.
Let's see if you have that.
Okay.
You don't have to do it right now. You can email us and let us know, but let's see if you have some lemon verbena. I'd like to put you through, like, keep you doing all the stuff you're doing, but there's a little something I'd like to put you through and see if that doesn't help resolve this.
Okay.
It's like it's a complicated thing, but it's that you're having those little things that I'm thinking that the myelin sheaths of the nerves are going through phases where they're getting irritated and then not. And I've used lemon verbena for that before, and it doesn't always work, but when it works, it really works. Like, it's just, man, it will knock it out. It's really hard to tell why, but like there, like you said, it could be like foods that you're eating or something, but there can be these just like weird cycles in the body, and they don't follow like a 24-hour cycle or a 72-hour cycle. They just have like a active dormant thing, and they'll just like kind of come and go. And it's always kind of hard to tell why. Like it might be hormonal, it might be immune related, I mean, immune being like, some inflammatory component.
I did notice that, ever so often, I feel a little bit, sick at my stomach. And I didn't like the taste of that ginger, but all of a sudden I'm liking it.
Okay. And is it helping the nausea?
Oh, yeah, the minute I take it, it's gone.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it's good that the inflammation is going down, but then it cycles back.
yeah, that's the weird thing. And the symptoms are exactly like you just described. There's no cycle. It's pretty kind of random. It's like part of
Right.
the day it's this way, the end
Right.
of the day it's that way. It keeps changing. And how would I, if I have the lemon verbena, how would I take it?
You'll take 2 to 3 drops twice a day.
Internal.
Yeah.
And all of those other things that you gave me to do, that once a day, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's good that it's going away and coming back. Sometimes you kind of cycle out of these things a little bit, but you look for like, is it not as intense? Is the duration shorter? Is the space in between it flaring up and not flaring up like longer? You look for those kinds of things, but it just sounds like a light switch, like it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off.
Yeah.
Like intensity is kind of still the same though, isn't it?
Well, this past weekend it was really intense. And
Yeah.
then yesterday morning it was a little bit intense. But as the day went by, like I was still aware of the hand, but the pain went away.
So like just as like for like survival reasons, like when you get an area like that where the pain is bad, put a little bit of peppermint in some lotion. Do you have some peppermint or corn mint?
I have peppermint.
Yeah. Just put a little bit in lotion and then rub it on the area and see if that just helps manage the pain a little bit better.
Like for the hand?
Wherever it's hurting. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can even do it like if it's any of the psoriasis, you could even do it in and around some of the psoriasis. If it gets like too irritated or something, you could do that, but.
Oh, and that was another thing. So I got the spikenard, putting it on the psoriasis neat really helps with sleep, and it helps the psoriasis where it's inflamed is calming down.
Good.
And I've just about used a whole bottle. So should I get spikenard again, or should I use something else?
Spikenard's going to be your best friend for that psoriasis, I think.
Okay.
Especially for the flare-ups and everything. It's balancing the skin, and it's not just balancing the skin, it's helping with some pain, and it's also calming some of the erratic immune responses.
It really helps me sleep.
Yeah. I would stay on the spikenard, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll look for the lemon verbena. Thank you.
Okay, and then let us know. Like, let us know
Okay.
either way. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And then go ahead, Robert, then Anne.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Greg. The class this weekend was pretty special, but as today I was packing up the kit and it's like 26 bottles.
I know, huh?
Wow, that is some kit. And when I opened it Saturday morning for the first time, it's like I kept opening and opening and opening. it was a really nice gift in the process here. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
So my wife and I were out for a walk Sunday evening, and as we neared the end of the walk, she tripped, I guess you could say, and fell, ended up in the street. She sort of rolled. She didn't land. She sort of rolled, but she had some abrasions on her right elbow. And I've been treating it with helichrysum on the abrasions, black cumin internally, galbanum internally.
Yeah.
And we just found out a couple hours ago that she did fracture the elbow.
But did they put it in a cast or leave it out of the cast?
It's going to be in a sling for a couple weeks.
There's certain kinds of breaks with the elbows. I was telling this to Samantha when you first emailed that it's actually the best thing you can do is not cast it. And it seems almost a little counterintuitive, but I remember the first time I was hearing it, I was like, that sounds really weird, but it's still good for you to be able to move the arm around. It's not like you're moving around and doing things. Usually they put you in a sling, but still you can take it out and stretch it out and move things around. And long term, it's better. You just have to be a little bit more careful about things. But did they tell you the kind of break it was?
I don't know yet. I'm waiting to see the actual notes from the doctor.
Yeah, because there's like spiral fractures. There's all kinds of different fractures, but I'll have to look at my notes. But it's usually a fracture on a very specific area that they won't cast it.
Okay.
And so you're doing all the right things. I would use some marjoram. You don't have to necessarily put it directly on the spot. It could be a little bit above, a little bit below, but that will help accelerate the healing of the bone. And then, there's that herb called Solomon seal that you can get off of Amazon. Like no health food store has it. The only place I've ever seen it is there's this health food store in Birmingham that has like really old school herbs. They're from the group is from the Yogi Bhajan group. And so they have all these like really old school herbs, and you can walk in and just buy it right off the shelf. But that's been the only place I've ever seen it. And I'd probably give her like 2 or 3 capsules twice a day. And like between that and the marjoram, and you do a little healing on the broken bone part with the orangish yellow, usually the bone will heal in almost half the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so instead of 6 weeks, it's about 3.5 or so.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So I'll add to it marjoram in the area surrounding
Yeah.
the elbow,
Yeah.
and Solomon seal 2 to 3 capsules twice a day,
Right.
and then pranic healing with orange yellow
Yeah. Just on the broken bone part, you
on
just,
the bone.
yeah.
And should I continue the pranic healing in the area in general?
I would do the anti-inflammatory stuff just to keep her comfortable.
Okay.
It's more about comfort level, and the inflammation will tell you when she's not comfortable.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sign. And
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Yeah, keep us posted on that though.
I will.
Yeah, if something
Thanks.
starts to get weird or funky or something like that. Yeah.
We've already seen improvement in the almost 48 hours.
Yeah,
And I know that's short term, but
that's a very good sign though.
I knew it was important to get the
Yeah.
swelling down.
Yeah.
So that's
And my experience is most times, like you go through, you deal with this, you deal with it the way we're talking about, it rarely needs any physical therapy or treatment after the bone is, binds.
Oh, yeah, they were sort of like, the doctor, from what I heard, told her that to expect a call from the sports PT people probably later this week to start scheduling PT for.
Yeah, they want to keep it moving a little bit. Like it's not gonna, again, this is just my experience, but they usually don't do anything too rough or too strenuous. They just want to keep things moving because the lack of movement with this kind of injury over a period of time is actually more detrimental than having a bit of movement and a little action in an activity. So they want to keep it moving a little bit. So they're just teaching her like how to properly move it and stretch it for the next 3-4 weeks.
And again, I haven't seen the actual notes from the doctor. Should she be sleeping with the brace on, the sling on?
I would say that depends on person to person. Like if you can be super conscious of it, I would say you could probably go without it. But like if you're not sure that you could be aware of it, I would probably leave it on at least for maybe the first few days.
Okay, sounds good.
I think
I will-
most times people usually end up taking that kind of stuff off if they can. But like the
Yes.
first day or two, it's already been a couple of days. So like maybe another day or two, just so you don't like injure it more. And then you start to become aware of it enough to where you can start taking those things off. And
Okay,
yeah,
great. Thank you much.
you're so welcome.
And I just want to make sure the Solomon Seal for capsules, not the tinctures, right?
Yeah. So Sam's reminding me, because sometimes the tinctures, they make a really weak tincture and it's not strong enough. So get the herb itself in a capsule.
Okay, thanks.
And then go ahead, Anne and Ralph.
Yeah. Hi, my daughter who had the injured last week, it's much better. So thank you. She
Oh,
has
good.
long COVID.
Oh,
And the long COVID, she's losing weight. She's about 5'9" and she weighs 125.
oh, wow. And just like no appetite, or she's
Yeah,
eating
yeah.
and losing?
Little appetite. With starting of school, it's always anxious.
And how long has this been going on?
About a year and 3 or
Oh,
4.
quite a while.
Yeah.
Okay, let me look something up here real quick. Do you happen to have any chamomile?
I can get that.
Okay, I'd say either chamomile or fennel.
Okay.
And a few drops internally daily. In water.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's your
Okay.
best bet. I think that's your best bet for that.
Any chamomile?
You could do any chamomile. So, I mean, German chamomile, you'll have to take a break. Like you could do like 3 weeks on, maybe 1 week off, and then 3 weeks on. Or you could just do Roman chamomile all the time. And I think Roman chamomile is even a little bit cheaper. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Another question.
Yes, fire away.
My dog, he is having problems with glands, and I've been pretty much able to keep that under control. But recently, 2 days ago, he started chewing right at his tail, and the fur is gone for about 2 inches. And I'm
Oh,
wondering
wow.
what's the
Could he be nervous? Like does he get anxious? Like if you go
is
outside?
this part
or-
of the glands or is it something else?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's outside a lot.
yeah.
on-
What I would do is I would put a few drops of basil like on your hand and even with a little bit of alcohol and then start at his tail and work your way up his spine, just to
Okay.
like rub it in the spine. Do that daily. And I mean, you could also use chamomile, but you know, like I think the basil is very soothing to the dog. And then there's been times where we've had people like diffuse like lavender or marjoram is usually my first choice. And that actually will relax the animal quite a bit. Yeah, you don't have any birds, do you?
We didn't hear you. Anne, do you have birds?
Do I have what?
Birds. Do you have a bird or anything in the house as well?
No. No.
Okay, so the diffusing is fine. Like the only reason to hold back on the diffusing would be if there's a bird. So I would try that combination.
My
and-
internet is really,
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that happens. That happens to us too. And we're the ones zooming, so it always like freaks us out when it happens. But so I would try that combination and see how it works.
okay, so I didn't hear the lavender or the marjoram.
Or marjoram in a diffuser. And like if you don't have a diffuser, just take like a tissue. Like I'm seeing if I have something here. Just take like a tissue. Yeah. Anyway, just take a tissue and like kind of twist it and kind of crumble it up. Put the marjoram or the lavender on it, and then like let it just unfold, and then just set it in the corner and just do that a few times during the day, and that will act as like a homemade diffuser.
Okay.
Yeah, like here like back in the old days was our fancy diffuser would be you would take like a tissue like what you'd blow your nose with, and you do the same thing. You twist it and then you put a bunch of oil on it, and then you take a big mason jar and put it over the tissue, and the tissue still all wound up. You let it sit there for about 10 minutes, and then you take the mason jar off and you undo the tissue, and it just bouquets through the whole room. That was our old school expensive diffuser, because the expensive part was going and getting a nice big mason jar.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you much.
But like if you had like a flower vase or just, something big, like when you hold it like that, it will bouquet into the room like kind of all at once. And it's nice. If you just do it on the tissue, it will also work. But there's something about that bouqueting that's just, it's so nice.
It'll be nice for me too.
And then go ahead,
Great.
Ralph.
Thank
And then go ahead, Ralph, then Sonia.
Hey, Greg,
Hey.
thanks for the tip on the expensive diffuser thing.
Yeah, honestly, like I remember because like when I first started doing medical aromatherapy, like aromatherapy in the US was not a thing. Like it
Mhm.
was
You doing what?
yeah, I was like early 80s, I think. And like there were these like fancy French diffusers that had this big glass thing. And I mean, back in like 1980, they were like $100 something. And I was
Mhm.
like, I can't do that. And so I did the mason jar thing, and it was amazing. And it was just not a fancy piece of glass, but it's like, just a big mason jar. Man, it works every time.
Okay. I have liquid nitrogen burns on my face. I went over this a while, but I can't find my notes, so I'm asking again.
You could do a couple of things. You could do lavender, you could do helichrysum. Those two are
Yeah.
pretty solid choices.
Okay.
Like any sort of burn, those two, even German chamomile, yarrow, but I usually go like lavender for a little bit, and then like after a day or two, I start switching to helichrysum.
Okay.
The thing that's nice about the helichrysum, with a burn, sometimes they'll hurt for a while, and
Mhm.
putting the helichrysum on will take the pain out.
Okay.
Yeah.
so I've been dropping lavender on it, and when the scab comes off, it's still raw underneath after the lavender. I just found my little 2 mil roller ball of Helichrysum Supreme and put that on tonight,
Yeah,
and
should be-
that feels better already.
yeah. That should be good. Yeah,
Okay, all right,
perfect.
I'll keep up with that.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
and great-
this is
great-
like the second or third time you've had to have things burned off? Are they just like precancerous or like what's
They
what's going on?
were precancerous. I've had I think I got programmed to have skin cancers by my father when I was a kid because he had skin cancers.
Mhm.
And so I was told that I'd have them too. So I'm being very dutiful son. And so last year, a friend of mine down here found a skin doctor that was doing the liquid nitrogen, and I went in twice. And after the first, about a month afterwards, it's like I come out, I got a scab fine, but later on the scab just it never healed up underneath. And that really disturbed me. So that's why and that was about 9 months ago. So now I'm not going to go back to that person again. I just rather put the oils on it. And then I've got some bloodroot if I got one that really goes off, because I've used bloodroot before. Yeah, it leaves a
Yeah.
scab, but I don't have to mess with it.
Yeah, the thing with bloodroot, like you said, it can leave a little bit of a scar and everything, but it will pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Did you have a lot of sun when you were young, or?
I was not particularly, living in California. It's not like living in Florida. I was in the San Francisco Bay Area, so we had to deal with a lot of fog and stuff.
Yeah. And is it mostly, is it on your face, on your
Yeah.
scalp?
Face.
Face. Do you have some wormwood or like opopanox or
I have some
Paracelsus?
Opophonox. I have
Yeah.
Opophonox, wormwood, no.
Paracelsus? Do you have that from any kid or anything?
Not yet.
Let's just have you do the opopanox, and just like every night when you go to bed, just take long, slow, deep breaths, like kind of, you don't have to be super systematic, but just do it through your body. Spend a little extra time on your face.
Okay, with the tension on
and
the face.
On the face, but we're really wanting to kind of hit all, the whole body. But,
Okay,
the idea is just it's like what we were talking about at the beginning, to calm down any sort of chaotic cell growth.
okay.
And, with the skin, it could be all kinds of things, it could be sun, could
Growing
be
up over top
hormones.
of a oil refinery might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be stuff in the air. It could be, I mean, it could just be all kinds of things. And
Yeah.
so let's just see. I mean, you already have it. You can do it at night. Let's just see if that doesn't help. And I mean, we'll just have to see what comes up. And because the last time was what, about 6 months ago?
9 months.
9 months ago? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see
I
if we
haven't
can make
had
that
any
a
more.
bigger gap before you have to do that again.
Okay, and I haven't had any recurrence since then.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah,
good.
let's see how that goes.
I'll try that. Thanks.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Sonia, then Peggy.
Hey,
Um, Yeah, last week when we were doing something on the solar plexus, and all of a sudden I felt like I got hit in the solar plexus, and I felt a real strong revulsion, and my energy really dropped, and it hasn't cleared up, and the muscles over my ribs are really tight. I'm having a hard time breathing right, and my lungs kind of ache in my heart chakra.
I think, did we have you do like a fair chords or rue? You have some big giant cords on several parts of your body. The solar plexus, there's some big ones.
Okay, solar plexus and what else?
You have some on your solar plexus, you have one on your throat, you have one on the basic. You have a smaller one on the Ming Men. But like, think of some of your family members with the, because like the thing is it's not always about cutting them, they're with your family. So, you know, there's the negative cords we can cut, even if it's between family, but part of what happens is the positive cords get contaminated sometimes. And in your case, you guys have this conflict and this lawsuit or potential lawsuit. You need to constantly clean those things out. You know, because they're grinding on it and it's impacting you.
They're endangering my mother, but you know, they want her assets and her they don't want to take her out of danger, and I'm fighting that because you know,
Yeah. But keep those cords clean. That's part of why that solar plexus is like that. I mean, when they hit that area, I've had times where it's thrown my solar plexus, like the muscles and the diaphragm, into spasm. And you know, you treat it physically, and then I treated the cords, completely went away. You know, it's just got to keep them clean when you're going through a conflict like that.
well, it's like you almost have to do the thing every day.
I would
And
do it daily. Yeah, exactly daily.
you know, I mean, they just are
Yeah.
constantly
You know,
attacked.
after this conflict, you might not have to do them daily, but
What?
right now it's just part of your daily routine. Yeah. Sorry that's happening for you, Sonia. Yeah.
I didn't think that they were so they don't have any conscience, they don't have any sensitivity to
People sometimes, you know, have ideas in their head or justifications, and they think they might be doing the right thing, and you know, who knows? People can talk themselves into anything.
well they've got a bunch of personality disorders and they just don't have any conscience or sensitivity.
Mhm. Yeah,
to
I believe it.
anybody.
So
My mother even goes,
keep those things clean.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then go ahead, Peggy.
Hey, Miss Peggy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
I'm
how are ya?
another, I got lots of good things going on, lots of wonderful, generous gifts. You guys are awesome. I thank you over and over for numerous different wonderful things, as you know. The sympathetic Estonia. As I listened to you talk about it once or twice, over the time frame,
Mhm.
a little light's going off. I have a grandson who like sometimes the two stories I'd heard, his dad was yelling at him and he just crumbled. And he is at the store a couple months ago and nobody was angry at him or he wasn't, what the deal was, but he just like passed out and all of his friends are like, what happened to you? But some of the things that you have said made me think,
He
how
blacked
would
out.
you
He
diagnose
blacked out, or he just fell to the ground and couldn't get up.
he fell to the ground and he couldn't get up. They did call the paramedics and
Yeah,
they
that's-
didn't have
that
to do
sounds-
anything for him,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they said, you need to check.
It's not life threatening or anything. It's just like, you're at the store and it
Well,
happens. It's horribly inconvenient. It's like, it's just a
Yeah,
weird.
it's embarrassing and at home, he did when he fell or he cracked his head on the thing. So but I've heard these symptoms and it's like, I kind of, how can we diagnose that if that's what it is?
Doctors rarely catch it because it's so low on the list of things to look for.
Right.
I mean, they'd almost like have to see it in action because like, even when you describe it, it just sounds like, well, you just maybe fainted or blood pressure dropped, you start going through all the things.
Yeah.
How old is the child?
He just turned 19.
Oh, 19. Okay. So not a child.
No,
I
he's a
was
big,
I was
he's a
thinking
big
little
kid.
guy.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah. I would give him, usually the straight up way to treat that is 2 to 3 drops of anise daily. And it could increase to twice a day if necessary, but usually the one time a day will do it. The other thing, you look for big changes in their handwriting. Like, basically they were writing a particular way, and then as time goes by, it gets like more and more chicken scratch. And like it becomes harder to, like, you're doing your letters, and like as you get to the end, it's almost like they just start drooping or dropping, like you don't like write them all out. And it happens over a period of time. You can ask about it. You don't have to. I mean, sometimes people aren't super aware of it. They just think that's their handwriting, but you look for shifts in handwriting as one of the ways of diagnosing it. And then there's they'll be standing there and they'll just drop to a knee, or they'll do this thing where they look like they're dancing and they'll start going like, and then they'll fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to him the last
Yeah.
time, the way it was
Yeah, yeah.
described.
And Annis should really fortify that. So it'll take a little while. It's not a quick thing, but you just have to go through and fortify that nerve for a little bit. But daily for a while, and after a bottle or two, he should be just doing maintenance from time to time after that. Sometimes there's a predisposition, sometimes it's because of a traumatic event. Many cases that I've treated, no rhyme or reason, just there. The only time that I could say like, oh, here's a pattern is sometimes after a woman would give birth, they would potentially have that. But even then, yeah, it's just a weird little thing that happens. Yeah.
Okay, is this the nerve that's opposite of the vagus nerve?
Not necessarily. It's the whole kind of sympathetic part of the nervous system. Yeah.
And I've noticed you keep talking about this other nerve, but you haven't given it a name. Is there a reason why
It's
you
just
don't?
called the accelerator nerve. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, that.
Yeah, like sometimes they'll call it cardio accelerator nerve, but it's just the accelerator nerve. Like that's the slang way of saying it. It depends on what book you read, what they call it. And
Thank you. Another question.
actually, and it's in Astara.
Is it
It's
under-
it's very, very brief. There's no real description of it. I think she calls it cardio accelerator nerve, if I remember right.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I think it's in the second degree lesson. Yeah.
Thank you. And the other day, you talked about a cardiac fortifier, and you said neroli, and I think you might have said, I know you said neroli, but I didn't get the other.
So that's for cardiac fatigue. And
Yeah.
so cardiac fatigue would be neroli, Melissa, Lang Lang, neroli, Melissa, Lang Lang, camphor somewhat. That's kind of why we use the camphor like on the arms, is it's
Right.
increasing blood to the arms, but it does treat cardiac fatigue.
Okay. Now,
heart
is the
failure.
Lang
And
Lang,
then-
is that,
Then the other one is Anula. Anula will
Ah.
treat cardiac fatigue.
okay, so now is the Lang Lang, is that just breathing, or is that?
You could throw it on your body, like body tonic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one. The neroli and the Melissa, I usually have people take internally.
Mhm.
The Lang Lang, you could do as a body tonic, but I'd probably still inhale it and take it internally as well. You
Ah,
know, the Lang Lang is a little bit better when there's a bit of tachycardia, you know, when there's the elevated pulse.
yeah.
Yeah, Melissa could be that way as well. But Lang Lang's it's nice because it's inexpensive and you can go kind of crazy with it, putting it on the body. If you put it on your body, it is soothing. Oh my God, it's soothing.
Yeah.
You know, different
saw-
than that, you know, like some things like how we were talking about Paracelsus just a little bit ago, like very nice, very relaxing. You put Lang Lang on, it's relaxing and soothing, but like in a very different way. Like, you know, you're hitting different kinds of relaxation.
Yeah, I bought a bottle and I had it in the bathroom on the back side of the commode. And every once in a while I'd go in there and I just utilize it because it felt good to
Mhm.
even put it on my lower extremities, you know, just kind of made me laugh, but it was very good. Thank you,
Yes,
thank you,
yes.
thank you
You're
for
so
all
welcome.
you guys do. And I just love it. And I have to tell you, I have this new oil that you made up. And I just love it. It's a seven drops of lotus. Oh,
Oh, the one for your friend. Yeah.
yeah, but I was selfish enough to say, yeah, I want one too. And actually, she loves it as well. She got
Oh,
it. She
good.
sent me an email and she was so excited as
Yeah,
well.
she's
So
very sweet. Thank you.
she is. Thank
She's
you,
very
thank you,
sweet.
thank you for all
I
you
think
guys do.
she's the one that sends me letters from time to time.
Oh, and poems and
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, yeah, long
Very
time
sweet.
Astarian. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then go ahead, Sonia, and then we do have some in chat as well.
Mhm. Hey, Sonia.
You know, last week when I went to the network chiropractor, he said my energy was running backwards. So like, and everything he said when that happens, like almost everything you muscle test is weak. And he fixed that. And he said, I've had a lot of pain and problems with my right shoulder and upper arm. And he said that when you breathe in, the body opens, and when you exhale, it closes, and the
Oh,
shoulder.
he's
stuck.
talking about paradoxical breathing.
He said the shoulder was stuck in closure. Is that part of this family junk?
It could be, you know, paradoxical breathing. A big portion of it is the scalings up in the neck. And so, you know, they're involved in keeping the head upright and the movement of the rib cage and all of that. And when they're off, it flips your breathing, you know, instead of, like he said, like instead of inhaling and the belly going out, the belly goes in, and then when you exhale, the belly goes out. And so paradoxical breathing will start to throw the nervous system off. And so you know, things like the hiss up and stuff can be helpful. But you know how we were doing the body movement with the releases, and we were going like to the left and to the right. The one that you can do for the scalings is you keep your shoulders kind of straight and gently, like you're kind of stretching this side of your neck by moving your head over, and then inhale a few times, and don't push it, don't strain it, and then bring your head back center, drop the chin a little bit just to reset, and then go the other direction and keep going back and forth with that. Do a little bit of something at the base of your skull, something like vetiver or something along that line, and do some inhalations just to keep opening up the breath. And over a period of time, you should be able to resolve that. Yeah.
Part of the problem is I have a left side spastic paralysis, and it never really lets go. So that vagus nerve and all that is, my whole left side is tight, you know, so it's
Yeah.
really hard to even tilt it
Okay, let me look
that
something.
far.
Are you able to tolerate peppermint very well?
Um, to what? Inhale?
I would actually put a little bit in like some lotion and massage oil and then rub it in that area where you have the paralysis.
Okay, I can try that.
Yeah. Other choices would be, I would try the peppermint first, but other would be basil or sage. Sage would probably be my last choice. I'd go peppermint, then basil, then sage.
You know, and I found that helichrysum works better for me than marjoram. There's that neurological.
Yeah, I mean, more lymphatic movement, and it's still antispasmodic. And, you know, again, going back to, you're also dealing with some very painful things with your family, and it's releasing trauma. And, you know, anytime you take that kind of stuff is more in your body than in your emotions and mind. We're super aware of it in our emotions and mind, but it settles in the body like nobody's business. And so if you find that brings you more relief, then lean into that one and do that one. But I'd like to see if we could try to improve the function in that area that has the paralysis.
Okay, and for the family negativity, if I did what do you call it? A protective sphere.
It's family and you guys are interacting, it probably is not going to work that great. If you want to just firm things up, inhaling camphor daily can be good, but really probably cleaning cords with that etheric cord blend is your better bet.
Okay.
Did you say dang? Yeah.
What?
Trust me, I've been there. I know exactly what you mean. I'm usually not as polite as dang, but yeah, I hear you.
It must have been something, I didn't say that, but it must have been something in the air.
Yeah. So give that stuff a shot and then let's go from there.
All right, and we do have some in chat
Yeah, yeah.
here, and then
Fire
we
away.
will do our practice. All right. My doctor today said I have a fatty liver. Any ideas to help the fatty liver?
Fatty liver. Okay, let me look some things up here real quick. I have my first go-to thing, but I want to see if there's something else we can find for you. So this is what I would do. Like, I mean, with something like this, you kind of start playing with it. You're going to be seeing the doctor again. They're going to be checking on it because it's, it's fatty liver. And so I would start with doing a little bit of peppermint for like maybe, I don't know, maybe a week. You could do inhalation. I would even do a couple drops like in water and then drink it. And then switch over to rosemary, verbena, and lemon. And again, probably all of this is going to be internal. Like the rosemary, you might be able to get away with putting it on topically, but both the lemon and the rosemary, verbena, very good for the liver. The peppermint is going to kind of jumpstart some processes in the liver to help potentially undo some of this. I mean, the good thing is the liver is very regenerative. Like it can regenerate like nobody's business. And so if we can just kind of get things working a bit better, we can maybe see if we can't either stop it or even start to reverse it. So let's have you start with peppermint, and then after about a week, a couple of drops of rosemary, verbena, and or lemon. I would actually probably do them both. But let's start with that.
And then my feet are swelling to deformed levels and stinging skin. The
Yeah.
elastic socks really help.
Yeah, anytime there starts to be a lot of edema like that, it will make the skin like start be very uncomfortable. I mean, the pain, again, you could probably use peppermint, you could probably use some spikenard to go through it and address that. I might lean towards the peppermint myself, but just to kind of calm down the nerves. But you know, with the edema, you know, first we want to look at, okay, is there like vein issues? Is there kidney issues? You know, the vein issues would also mean lymphatic issues. And then is there some sort of cardiac thing? Are you having swelling in any other parts of your body, or is it just like in your legs?
We go. Okay, yes, sir. It seems to be just the feet, and they get two, maybe 3 inches wider. It's amazing, but it doesn't
Yeah.
go much above the ankle bones. And I'm not seeing any other swelling. And the acupuncture doctor, Dr. Leanne, also said that she also mentioned that, yes, there were kidney issues and the fatty liver issues, along with the eye issue.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's have you just go like with like lovage or parsley, celery, something like that, a few drops again internally. But I'd like to see maybe also like some lovage or cedar or something rubbed on the legs and like a body tonic of sorts. Like do that every day.
Okay, great. That will be
Yeah.
easy to remember, because I'm telling you, without those socks, it is
Yeah.
sad by
Oh,
noon. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
scary by noon.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are lovage, internal or also on the body? Also body
Both.
tonic.
For that one, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and also.
The body tonic could be
internal.
the lovage, it could be the orange healer, you know, something with just a lot of diuretics in it.
Okay. Okay. And I assume I still keep drinking plenty of water. And also she was saying that I have, now the one thing about the fatty acid thing is that I have always craved butterfat. When I was in my late 30s, I would get up at 3 a.m, get a spoonful of whipping cream out of the fridge, and then go back to bed.
Okay, and no diagnosis of any cardiac issue or anything like that, or?
No, she didn't even mention anything about that. It was, I'm not sure, that she may have just said, let's deal with the mountains, and then we can work on the other stuff.
It is
yeah,
just
so-
your feet, it's probably just edema. You know,
Okay.
but yeah, like kidney function and things like that. So the thing too, like if you want, you know, like you do the lovage, you do the diuretics and everything, but it takes something like you know, you already got like rosemary being worked in. You could use rosemary or camphor and do a lot of inhalations with your awareness on the kidneys, because the thing is like when there's been a lot of sympathetic activity or fight flight or stress, or you know, and you've had a lot of body injuries over the years, and so the nervous system was probably fluctuating from just all that kind of stuff. And so the way, like how you calm down the sympathetic nervous system activity in the kidneys is you increase circulation. So it almost seems counterintuitive. You keep stimulating the kidney. So, you know, inhale with rosemary, inhale with sage, inhale with, I like rosemary or camphor for this, because it's going to increase the blood into the kidney. And when you increase the blood in the kidney, it's going to function better. It's going to eliminate better. It's going to make your urination more appropriate. Like everything is just going to improve. And I would go down that route.
One thing maybe to also keep in mind, I noticed this only really got like ugly. I mean, there was like, you know, little summer swelling, but it got ugly after the prednisone started.
I think that might be one of the side effects of prednisone.
Yeah, I think it is also. So I'm just pitching
Yeah.
that in because they're making, they haven't said they won't play with me if I don't take the devil drug, but they kind of,
Prednisone, I think, causes like swelling, and prednisone also causes, this has to be over a very long period of time, but it will cause the bones to get a little bit more brittle.
well, I get so mean before the bones get brittle that I actually become somewhat dangerous.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so, okay, so it's like that impulse, you trigger me, my impulse backhand, and I've learned to like, why am I raising my hand? Oh no, put that thing down. But anyway, okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
They're so.
Question, instead of quercetin, would buffered vitamin C work?
It doesn't work as well. Quercetin is much better. Yeah. The buffered vitamin C is better than normal vitamin C, but it will still pass through the body too quick.
Is there a way to treat a skin fungus? My sis has a fungus along the bra line underneath her breasts. It's reddish brown, itchy lesions that weep. Any suggestions for oils and how to apply, take internally, etc.?
I mean, like tea tree is good, but tea tree might burn in that area. I would, use tea tree with like a little bit of lotion or something. You might want to do something a little softer like patchouli or palmarosa in that area. And then, apply it from time to time. And then I'd also, like when it's dry, not with the oils or whatever, I'd probably put some like baby powder or powder on that just to try to dry it up as well. Usually between the combination, it can be helpful, but when there's a bit of weeping, the palmarosa sometimes works a little better.
And the palmarosa in a lotion as well?
Yeah, just like I'd put like several drops of palmarosa and then just like a little like pump of the lotion, or just enough to like kind of mix it, and then just take it and wipe it on the areas. Yeah.
Once a day?
Once or twice a day. Give me a break for just a second. I gotta go. Okay, all right.
That was perfect timing. Now we can do our deeper practice.
Oh, nice. Okay, so what I was thinking is let's still go back and revisit something in the energetic mechanics. So we're going to pull out here's some choices. Blends could be health rays or spasmophilia, single oils, helichrysum, straw flower, galbanum, Lidsia cubeba, lemongrass, basil, clary sage, lavender, or Roman chamomile?
I apologize, Greg. What were the first three?
Helichrysum,
Oh, I got that.
strawflower,
Got it.
galbanum.
Galbanum.
Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're just going to go through and notice how you feel, and we're working the health raise here, but we're going to work it specifically to some health issue that you have. Okay, so at first, just start taking long, slow, deep breaths. Not directing it anywhere, you're just taking long, slow, deep breaths. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just be still for a moment. Now we've gone through and we've done our kind of normal things with this. And if this is your first time, we're still going to bounce around and hit some of our hot spots, but let's have you just move your back around, like move side to side, twist, just see how your back feels. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And let's have you do those long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on just the backs of your legs. From your hips down to the back of your knees. Can you sound like me? Your awareness is on the backs of your legs. Now, just stop for a second and just move your back around and everything. We want to see like what part of the things that we're doing are going to impact your back. Even if your back is not bothering you, keep your back, especially the low back, nice and loose is really super important. So now you're going to keep your awareness on your inner thigh. So from the inside of your your top of your leg, like at the bottom of the pelvis, all the way down to the inside of your knee. So from the top to the bottom, that whole inner thigh area. This area usually gets overlooked the most when doing healing for soft tissue kinds of things. And they can hold a lot of tension, especially if there's been misalignments in the hips over a period of time. One gets contracted, another contracts in a different area. It's an area where there's compensation. Now, just pause for a moment. Just start up. Yeah, so like, here we're just doing it. And Samantha had a little bit of an emotional release when that happened. Nothing in particular, but just like a wave of emotion came over. So, I mean, that's the thing with those adductor muscles is there is a lot of, like there's a lot of emotion in the face. There can be a lot in the adductor area, the inner thigh. So think about your inner thighs there for a little bit. Think of an area where there's the most tension in the inner thigh. And then wherever that's at, begin inhaling with whatever oil you're using. Now go to the outer part of your leg, the outer side, the direct lateral part, the outer part of the leg from the top of the hip down to the knee. Inhale. And now do the front of your legs from the hips all the way down to the knees. Then just pause and let go for a moment. Now focus on one of the areas in your body where there's discomfort, pain, irritation, agitation, degeneration, whatever it is. Focus on that area and just start taking long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. Just pause and be still. Either that same spot, or if you have a new spot, go to that, and then again, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and still. And now let's pull out something from the second part of this process. This is from the energetic mechanics and the nervous system. It's a free class. If you didn't take this class, let us know. We can send you the video and the booklet. Here we're looking for lemongrass, marjoram, anise, tarragon, sage, rosemary. ANS support, no sweat, AMG, and lemongrass complex. So grab one of those oils. And again, going to one of your spots. Same thing we were just doing, go to one of your spots and begin inhaling with your awareness on one of your spots. Try lavender if you don't have. You're inhaling into your spot. You're staying focused on that spot. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths. Oh my. And then just pause and be still. And then go to another one of your spots. And then just be still. Again, your awareness is on your inner thighs. You're going to do your inner thighs. Move your awareness to the back of your legs. And then the sides of your legs. And the fronts of your legs. And just be still. Notice how you feel. How did that feel for you? Yeah. So keep in mind, like when you have a painful area, when you have a pain syndrome, and you have an area that's degenerating, like arthritis, or like how we were talking about earlier, somebody had a bit of psoriasis in an area, and by inhaling on these areas, you're calming down the overstimulation of the fight, flight, or the sympathetic nervous system, which doesn't allow for you to go into rest and repair mode. And so it calms your body down, it relaxes you, it allows the body to repair itself. It's very soothing and can accelerate the healing of that particular area, or at least the stabilizing of it. And the health race just helps more energy go in and out of that area, which is the fuel or gasoline that helps that area heal. But by working the health race, you're working the nervous system. By working the nervous system, you're working the health race. So we did both sides of the coin. So hopefully this accelerates something for you. So we're going to move over now to the Stara blessing for the prayer petitions. And tonight is a special night just because it is also the birthday of a great Astarian who was Master Choco Koksui. And he based a lot of what he was the modern day founder of pranic healing, and a lot of that was based on Astara's teachings. And so, we always like to honor him. A lot of people have a connection to him. So if you'd like to join us, we'll provide the link. And just be a little quick 15-minute thing. Nothing too crazy. So if not, remember tomorrow night, study group for the vagus nerve class for those who were with us. And on the weekend, everyday basics, we're going to go through and talk about all kinds of applications and different kinds of salt baths and why, and ointments, and just like normal everyday things, but like how to make things and just fun stuff, light and easy. So join us if you can.